Hey guys, welcome back and welcome to my latest planner update. I have been in just about all the planners it feels like so far this year, and I thought I would just kind of sit down and try and put some words around why I'm struggling, say with like my Hobonichi weeks and the bullet journal, my latest exploration into traveler's notebooks, and just kind of touch base on what the heck I have been doing and where I think maybe I am going to go. I expect this to be a pretty long video, so this would be a good one to grab some snacks for if you want to stay through all of this. I will try and put a timestamp where I talk about just the traveler's notebooks and how I've, high level set them up. I think I will do updated flip videos of these two setups since I have kind of moved into them for the time being, if you're not really interested in kind of hearing about the rest of this chaos. Okay, so I thought I would kick us off by trying to talk about my Hobonichi weeks and the A6 size bullet journal. I have my cousin and my two traveler's notebooks in front of me as well, so I'm just going to shuffle these. But in my last system video, I believe I explained very high level why I was leaving behind the Hobonichi weeks and moving into a bullet journal, the Hobonichi cousin, and the A6 Techo for work. And I've already kind of stepped away from all of that, and I thought I would kind of talk about why I feel like I'm having so many issues, and maybe things will sound similar to you and might be applicable. Now, I will say I woke up this morning with an intense urge to run back to my Hobonichi weeks, so we'll see kind of where I shake out with all of this. But one of the things that I've kind of recognized that I'm really struggling with is having more than 2 books in my system. I love when people have like 10 planners in the stack and each of those planners serves a purpose, but I'm kind of an all-in-one place type of person. So when I have multiple planners, unless one is a journal and one is a planner, they typically end up being duplications of each other. So if I was in like my Hobonichi weeks, for example, and a bullet journal, the content is almost always duplicated. Sometimes I actually like that. It's a good de-stressor, time playing with my planners without me having to like fabricate plans or anything like that. Sometimes it's just like a good fun thing to do on the side, but other times I find that it overwhelms me because I feel obligated to keep things up to date across both, and I don't necessarily need to. But what I'm finding is that I will reach for 2 different books on a daily basis, and I can keep 2 different books updated pretty easily. Even if I had like 2 ring planners and each of them had like 50 tabs, I think I could keep up with all 100 sections on a daily basis, as long as I only needed to touch 2 particular notebooks in a day. So when I'm in my Hobonichi weeks, I have to have a separate work planner because I need more space for personal to-dos and work to-dos than this bound book allows. So I find myself in a separate notebook, and same thing when I'm in a bullet journal. I need a little bit of work-life separation, so my work planning has to either be in a separate section, behind a divider, in a separate bound book, or a separate little insert, something to kind of keep it separated. But with using the Hobonichi weeks and using a bullet journal, what I'm finding is that I have a planner, a work planner, and then my daily journal. And daily journaling is something that fell to the side last year, and I really don't want to give that up in 2022. I need it for my mental health. I need it as a creative outlet time. And it's something I really want to make a priority this year, like it has been in the previous years for myself. So what I'm finding is that my work planning is just not happening. I am so stressed at work right now. I absolutely need to be touching my work planner on a daily basis. So the beginning of the year, I was doing my work planning in a separate Hobonichi weeks. I found a weekly view to be a little bit too much for work, and I wasn't reaching for it. And all of a sudden this like second weeks became this thing I hated. And so then when I moved into an A6 Techo, which is a daily planner, I found that that model works a little bit better for me. But once the novelty wore off, I found myself in that same predicament. It was a third book. It was just work. I had no joy in reaching for it. So then I just found I wasn't, and my work chaos is like continuing to spiral and get worse because I'm not using a planner and I need to. So one of the things that I really have been wanting to do is get down to a 2-book system. And that means I need to combine my work planning, my journaling, my creative writing, my prayer journaling, all these kind of things that I try and use throughout a course of a year, and combine them into 2 bound things. And the 2 ways I know how to do that are a ring bound planner or a traveler's notebook. And I've been down the rings hole and I've talked about that quite a bit. I get a little bit out of control with rings, and I think I might get out of control with strings. We'll see. As you can tell, they're pretty beefed up already, but I have not given traveler's notebooks a good try since probably like 2017. And back then I was in a Foxy Fix, a B6 sized, and I would get really frustrated with writing on the inserts while I was in the strings. Now moving to the passport size and the standard size, these are Travelers Company traveler's notebooks, by the way. I'm having less of an issue writing with the inserts on the string, but what I do have an issue with is writing on the inserts because they will not lay flat. So I'll talk about that more a little bit. But anyway, option 1 for moving into these 2 was it's allowed me to take everything I need and combine it into two things. So this is my planner and this is my journal. And again, I'll flip through and kind of talk about these inserts in the latter part of this video. I want to talk about like the next reason that I'm really considering strings and I've been playing around with them compared to these 2. In 2021, I used a Hobonichi Weeks Mega and I absolutely love that planner. But at the end of the year, I had exactly 10 pages left. 10 pages out of the 215 notes pages that are in the back of this planner. I used all of them but 10. And when I sat down and thought about all the things that I didn't write down at the end of the year, it was way more than 10 pages worth of material that I wish I had documented, because I do keep one planner typically at the end of the year and I refer to it as my archive. So it is sort of like my memory keeper and my productivity tool all in one for 2021, which I really liked. It helped me feel like I was downsizing. But now, I don't know, I'm just kind of afraid of running out of pages and I'm getting a little bit tired of that feeling. Now I am way ahead of schedule because even though I've been showing you all these other planners, I've actually kept my weeks up to date because I cannot help myself. And I make sure that this stays updated on a weekend. If you want to see a flip of this, even though it's not been my main planner, let me know. I'd be happy to do that, or maybe I can do a reel or something. But I've definitely been keeping this up to date because I could see myself moving back into it at pretty much any moment. It is something that it's like my security planner right now, I guess. But I'm way ahead of schedule. I was supposed to start March on page 71 and I'm currently on page 63. So I've got like 8 extra pages to work with. And I think I don't know. So it's one of those things where like, yes, I'm underutilizing the pages from what I expected. So I'm actually buying myself more room as time goes on in here. And I probably could get a lot of extra things in here, but I just keep having this little voice in the back of my mind that is like, you only had 10 pages at the end of last year. How are you going to add more? Because that is something this year is I really want to add more art in my planner. I want to do more doodling. I want to paste in ephemera. I want to kind of bring in some of those collage elements that I think are getting really popular and, you know, still within my style, but there's just so much more I would like to add in this planner to really kind of encompass having everything. Another thing I definitely have realized, I talked about this a little bit when I talked about my Hobonichi cousin, flipping through last year's planner, I don't get a very good full picture looking at a horizontal weekly. I find I always have to go, okay, like here is the highlights of the day, but I want to see my full-on daily to-do list. So I'm always flipping back and forth. it works, but it's not the most efficient. So I think I'm recognizing that a vertical is my preference. Now I can definitely make a horizontal work. This is my preference for a planning layout, but in memory keeping, I'm definitely more of a vertical person. I think my brain just tracks that information a little bit quicker, and the column space allows me to really integrate anything I'd have on a daily along with anything that was on my weekly into one space. So yeah, if I had to give like a reason, you know, the top 3 reasons I think I'm stepping away from like a bullet journal or Hobonichi weeks is I'm tired of feeling like I'm running out of pages. I need my work planning integrated in with my main planner, or I just don't reach for it, which is kind of the big driver right now. I need my planners to work for me, and if I'm not reaching for them, they're not working for me. And I guess the third thing is that the weeks I'm a little bit burnt out on it. Like, it's just not sparking joy. I feel like I really optimized how I used this planner last year, so I'm a little bit less inclined to reach for it. Now, saying that, I told you guys at the beginning of the video, I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I miss my Hobo weeks and I want to move back into it. So I guess dangling the carrot, I definitely could see myself moving back into it. I have kept up with it, as you kind of seen, not like the best with my artwork and stuff like I said I was going to do at the beginning of the year, but it is more or less up to date, and I'm reaching for it, you know, 1 to 2 days a week, filling it back in. I could see myself moving back into it, but right now the fear of running out of pages and just not writing something down is a problem I really want to address, and I need my work planner in my main planner, so I'm reaching for it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now, I pretty much showed you just my Hobonichi weeks and not talked much about the A6 bullet journal. I am on page 100 of this guy. I kind of stepped away at this beginning of March, and I really like this. I love the pocketability of this. I think being in the bullet journal really opened up my mind to the idea of, hey, I'm okay with multiple books at the end of the year as long as they are threaded and indexed in a way that is effective for me. And I love this size. It is so portable and cute and adorable, and I love Leuchtturm paper, so it's just something that I'm really comfortable in. I think it was a really good reset for me. I needed a new size of bullet journal to kind of help me fall back in love with the bullet journal process. But the thing that really is kind of making me think I need to step away from this is that point number 2 about work. Right now, work has to be in a separate planner, and I am not reaching for it because I'm always more excited about my main planner than my work planner. Okay, so let's talk about traveler's notebooks here. Now let me move this out of the way so we can kind of see a bit better. Okay, so I talked about how one of my main goals was getting down to a 2-book system, and the modular setup ability of a traveler's notebook is really kind of driving this move. And to be honest, I'm a big fan of just like the Travelers Company. I love their products. They're really quality products. They are utilitarian, yet they have a lot of character. I love the retro feel of the Travelers Company Travelers notebooks. I like that, similar to Hobonichi, you can get accessories, inserts, planner. It's kind of, you can get everything you need under one umbrella, but people make products for Travelers Company kind of across the world, so there's a lot of different options and ways to customize these really to fit your need. So I kind of mentioned this earlier. This is my planner. This is the passport size Travelers Company notebook in the Camel, and this is my journal. This is the standard size in the black leather, and I really am enjoying these setups. There's a couple things that I'm really struggling with. I'll kind of talk about that as well, but these are the 2 things that I've been reaching for the last, I would say, week and a half, coming on 2 weeks. And 2 weeks in, I had the intention of kind of filming this video saying like, hey, this is my new system, but I can already tell that I'm just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to like full on commit to like, this is it for the next couple months, quarter, hopefully year. I don't know. Maybe I will settle but I think on paper these two will really work for me, and I'm still awaiting a couple inserts to move in and feel like, okay, yeah, this is really going to work for me. So this is sort of like a preview to where I think I'm going and what I'm reaching for currently, but I'm not full on ready to say like this is my current system. But these are the two things I've been reaching for the last couple of weeks. Okay, so let's talk about my planner first. First of all, I love the passport size. It is very comparable to say like a Pocket Plus size insert. They're about 3.5 by 5 inch pages. I think a little bit smaller, but I don't have the dimensions off the top of my head. This is the Camel cover. I am a huge fan of the Camel. Surprisingly, usually I'm kind of like, does it come in black? But I just love how this leather is fuzzy and it shows a lot of marks and it's wearing in. It's already, you know, starting to show a lot of love, and it's just very soft, which I'm a very like textile person. So in my planner, I have it stuffed to the max. This is essentially a planner and wallet setup, and I could take the wallet insert out, and I think that this would be a lot more manageable. The inserts really stick out past the sides, as you will kind of see on the front and the back. I thought that would bother me, but it hasn't so far. So that is that. I've been doing most of my writing with fountain pen in these inserts. This is the Kaweco Sport and Fine. This is the brass edition. I am actually like really enjoying this pen. I think in the next couple of months I need to do another pen roundup video, but this is the one I've been reaching for the most when I'm in this planner. Okay, so the first insert I have just kind of wrapped around the front and the back is the B-Sides and Rarities zipper case insert. This is in the mustard color. It's waxed cotton. I really love the feel of it. Again, I'm a big textile person. I keep important documents and like cards in here, and then my other cards and like ID in a zip pocket in the back. I also have a brass clip. This has been basically the only reason I'm making this work right now is this here clip. It's also the one thing that I don't like about the system. So trying to figure out like how much of a deal breaker it's gonna be. Okay, so I have this set up. I call this configuration my planner. I went through and thought about all the ways I could kind of combine everything that I was looking to do in my 2-book system, and this is the option that weighed out. The first 2 inserts are my personal bullet journal, and I took inspiration from It's Caitlin Gray here on YouTube. I will link her channel down below. She was bullet journaling in a standard size last year, and I liked her setup, so this will feel pretty familiar just in the passport size. And my third insert is my work bullet journal here in the back. So my bullet journal is split across 2 inserts. My first one here, this is temporary. I'm awaiting another insert to show up so I can reset this up and kind of move in, but I've got this in here so I can kind of get used to the bulk of 3 books. But this is what I refer to as my annual insert. This holds anything I would need on a yearly basis. So like my future log, for example, any future dates, appointments, all my yearly habit trackers would fall in here, yearly logs, like the books that I read, anything that I'd want to kind of make sure to have in one collection for the entirety of 2022, I would move into my annual insert. I'm calling this volume 0. It's going to stick in my planner for the entirety of the year or until I run out of pages. This is sandwiched in a craft folder. I've got a writing board from Traveler's Company and then some stickers here in the back. My second insert is my volume 1. I refer to it as my current bullet journal, and these both, by the way, are blank inserts from Traveler's Company that I'm just using up until my other inserts arrived. I ordered some Tome River paper ones from Paper Penguin Co. off Etsy, and I'm just using a grid template behind the paper to help me kind of write semi-straight because that will show through. So this is my volume 1, and basically this is my current bullet journal. So the goal here would be my monthly spreads, my monthly logs, my weekly logs and dashboards. I've got like my current package tracker in here, any kind of notes, and most importantly, my daily logs. I'm currently doing a page per day, which I really like, and the whole appeal of moving to this style of bullet journaling with an annual insert and then sort of my volumes behind it is that this is eliminating that fear of running out of pages for me very intentionally. I can go through as many inserts as I want to after this, 5 volumes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. I have kind of figured out how I think I would archive these at the end of the year, and if I stick with this, I'll do a whole video on that so you can check it out. This is my current week. By the way, this paper is lovely. I just love using fountain pen on it. I don't really have to use blotting paper, and just in general, I'm actually really enjoying the blank insert. My number one thing is that nothing lays flat, absolutely nothing lays flat. So I have to take the brass clip here and well, of course, now that I'm trying to do it on camera, I can't do it very seamlessly, but that's what I do. Now, when I have this is super legit. I can write on my lap without a desk in this configuration, and this actually works out really well for me. But right now the pain point is I'm on my daily, I need to go to my weekly, I need to write on it, I have to put the clip back. So this is kind of the number one thing where I'm like, I don't know. But I'm planning on moving into these Tome River paper inserts like the one I have for work in the back, and these seem to lay a little bit more flat than these. So I'm trying to hold off until they arrive so I can make any big decisions. But overall, I really like this. I think the style is fun. I'm using a variety of colors. I typically only stick to black pen with my planner, but I'm using a green ink. Primarily, I'm using some brown ink from Trementis as well that I really like, doing a lot of doodling, and overall really enjoying this other than the clip. Okay, final insert is my work bullet journal. I can talk about this a little bit more when I move into my annual insert completely. I'll do an updated flip through and kind of walk you through page by page, similar to a bullet journal setup video. And I'll talk in more detail here, but high level, I have a very simple work planner. I work digitally, I work remotely, so almost everything I do has to be digital, but for my work planning, I essentially have a weekly list of tasks and a daily list of tasks, and those tasks are just downloaded from my email. So if I get an email, I need to take action on it. It gets written in my work planner because otherwise I will absolutely lose it. So this is a Tome River paper from Paper Penguin Co. in the dot grid. I prefer a square grid, which is what I'm waiting on the other ones for. Once those get mailed in, I'll kind of move on over, but I do a weekly list for goals for my current week, and then from there I just follow it with daily logs, and I essentially use the bullet journal method for my key here. All of my tabs that are metal are Midori index clips in silver or orange. I live in the South, so things tarnish extremely quickly, as you'll kind of see. It's just the name of the game, I think, down here. But anyway, this is my bullet journal, personal and work. Messing around with the different layouts, just trying to see how I kind of like all of this sandwiched in. It is definitely a chunky planner. Quickly, let me walk you through my journal setup. So this, I think, is working out a little bit better than the Passport, just because the standard size is a little bit easier for me to write in. Again, this is a black cover. Mine is very smooth, but still really flexible, which I like. I've got an olive B-sides and rarities insert in here as well. I'm pretty much just using this to hold ephemera right now. And I once more have 3 inserts that I use for my journaling. So the first insert I have is the vertical free weekly. I've stamped in the date here, and this is what I use as my memory keeping insert. So I am pretty much using these layouts to be a replacement for, say, my Hobonichi cousin. And I will have to go through 2 inserts here for the year, so I'll have a volume 1 and a volume 2. Again, I'm a huge fan of this paper. This is actually the Goldilocks size, I think, for me for memory keeping. Sometimes A5 feels way too big, and anything smaller I feel a little bit cramped, so this is about the perfect amount of space that I need for this type of hybrid journaling, planning, memory keeping. All of this is done at the end of each day. I come in and fill it out. I do not pre-plan in this insert at all. The middle insert is what I'm referring to as my almost daily journal. So this is replacing what I would do on my daily pages of my Hobonichi cousin. One of the things that I struggle with the cousin is that I do keep them long term. I want to keep my journaling. I want to keep my memory keeping. I don't like keeping them together because I'm a little bit more private with this part of my planning system. But this is the Kanso Sashi Tome River paper notebook. It's 120 pages. I got this off of Jetpens. I believe it's a Jetpens exclusive. This is in the cream version with a 5mm dot. The dots are extremely faint, so if you like a faint dot grid, this might be a good insert for you. But basically, I will come in here and I will journal something about as close as daily as I can. If I don't have anything to write or I don't want to, it's okay if I skip. I like that it's undated for that reason. Using a lot of ephemera and fountain pens, I would prioritize putting ephemera in here over, say, a different notebook, for example. And overall, just really enjoy this. I love a good Tome River paper insert. Doing a lot of doodling and sketching in here as well. And I will again have multiple volumes if I stick with this for the entire year. Final insert is a grid insert, 5mm grid. This is from Traveler's Company. I'm not going to flip through the contents of this. This is what I call my anything else journal. So this is like morning pages, prayer journaling, creative writing, all the types of journaling that I don't historically keep at the end of the year. I've just sort of merged them into one space, and I write whenever I need to write in here in the back. So hopefully you can kind of see how these two would work together. I know this is a super long video, so if you made it this long, you are the real MVP. But I'm thinking that these are the two things that I'm going to be sticking with kind of moving forward. But you know me, I could definitely find myself back in any of these other planners at any point. But if you have any questions, let me know down below. If you want to see in detail updated flips and all that kind of stuff, let me know if you want to see more Traveler's Company content. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.